preferences, and for the way that I'm used to doing it, I'm just gonna go ahead and knead it with my hands, and I'm not gonna clip the hair down. I'm then gonna go ahead and add the pipe cleaner. But as I do that, I'm gonna talk to you about it so that you can understand how to keep this clean retwist as you go through, okay? So let's get into it. All right, so now we're here, and as you see, if you take the clip off of locks, it's gonna become slightly looser at the roots. But if you did a really good retwist, then it should somewhat stay together. But this is still not it staying together enough to where when you put your pipe cleaner on it, it's gonna stay nice and smooth at the roots. You never ever want to retwist the hair all together and then put your client under the dryer and let them dry, and then come back and put the pipe cleaners. Your curls are not going to stay, okay? The only way that the curls are gonna stay is if you completely break that hydrogen bond and then you set it exactly how you want it to be, okay? Okay, so we've got our pipe cleaner. And remember, we made our pipe cleaner earlier. The trick to pipe cleaners is to make sure that this first section of the hair is retwisted over itself with the remainder of the lock. That's how you're going to get a clear and precise circle all the way through the lock. So I'm going to take this and about 1/2 inch, maybe a less or so of hair. I'm going to take it and fold it over the end of the pipe cleaner, but I'm making sure that the circle of the pipe cleaner is sticking out, okay? And then I'm going to begin to twist the lock over the end of itself. And I'll probably twist it once or twice, and as you see, I'm making sure to position her locks to where they won't unravel while I'm doing it. And then I just slowly but surely twist it up. Now the trick to this is to make sure that you don't bulk the hair up all in one place. If you do that, it's going to cause a lot more drying time, or you may be faced with a dilemma with having to send your client home with a few pipe cleaners in, because if you do not allow it to dry all the way, the hair is going to fall, and the 45 minutes or whatever it was that she sat on the dryer will all be a waste of time. So this is a completely completed pipe cleaner, retwist and wrap around the pipe cleaner, okay? Now this right here is just excess. We're going to use the shorter ones moving forward because that's going to cause us problems with getting under the dryer if we have a full head of that. You want it as less bulky as possible, okay? So for those of you that don't feel confident quite yet with pipe rolling and retwisting the hair at the same time, this is the technique that you would use, okay? And make sure you fold this up under there. That's going to help to keep the pipe cleaners in place. I forgot to tell you guys that part. Okay. Boom. So your pipe cleaner is going to look just like this. All right. I'm going to redo this one because I didn't fold the circle over the ending for you. So here we go again. We're wrapping it over, and we'll go just like this. Make sure you fold your circle at the end. If ever your locks are too long, as you twist, you can kind of scrunch them down a little bit and then wrap more. It's a very repetitive motion, so once you get the hang of it, it shouldn't take you any more than 15 to 20 minutes to get that part done, okay? So now let's go through and we're going to retwist and get her pipe clean. So at the top, you'll probably notice a hair clip that I put in her head. This is what I call an alligator clip. If you're going to do natural hair, you're going to do locks, I strongly suggest that you invest in alligator clips because they are built for holding thick hair. If you're going to be doing natural hair, you're probably going to be working with a lot of thick hair. If you're going to be doing locks, you're going to be working with a lot of thick hair. And if you don't get the proper tools, you're going to break a lot of tools before you realize what tools you need. Now you'll notice that we're working this product through, and I am retwisting everything down. You see that Kendra has a towel under her neck. Not only is this towel to catch the water that may be draining down her neck, but it is also to ensure that I have something to clip these locks to, okay? Because all of the locks at the top, if we were doing a traditional retwist, we would be clipping them to each other sporadically to make sure that they stay in place. But in the beginning, once you first start getting going with your locks, there's nothing to clip it to. So I always have a dry towel right up under the nape of their neck right here, and then I can clip it to it just like that. Okay? So like I said, I'm going to do about half of her head with the clips in place. This is for my locticians that do not feel 100% confident in retwisting and pipe cleaning right away. Okay? You don't need a lot of product because remember, hair will set on its own with just water. Our product is just to give it a little bit more oomph and to make it not lock, but make it set together really, really well. Okay, so we have a few, and they are ready to be curled. Okay, I've got my alligator clip at the top holding her hair over. We let her drain at the sink for a sufficient amount of time so we don't have to be concerned with a bunch of hair dripping water or anything like that. So once you begin to get ready to get your pipe cleaner, you want to make sure that these roots are nice together. You never want to let it go and let it be loose and then it looks something like this and then you put your pipe cleaner on it. This part is not going to retwist after you put your pipe cleaner on it. It already has to be sitting in place in natural state, okay? Once again, we're taking the circle part of the pipe cleaner. We're folding the end of the lock over itself. And then we're rolling it over itself on the end. I'm going to take the end of the pipe cleaner and fold it down. And then I'm going to twist in a consistent motion, making sure to leave this part right here where your pointers are at long enough to where I can fold it over and it's not going to tangle in the roots of her hair, okay? Okay. Now as we go through, I shared with you guys that I was using my gel on her roots. What I'm going to do for my curled part is I'm actually going to be wetting them with this setting lotion, which looks like so. Excuse me for forgetting that part because I'm getting so caught up in teaching you about how to roll the hair, but we haven't gone far enough to where I can't go back and saturate it, okay? So you want the hair to be heavily saturated with whatever liquid or setting lotion you're going to be using. I just suggest that it's something that moisturizes the hair. You can also use Lotta Body. Lotta Body is a really, really good setting lotion, but Lotta Body has to be diluted. And if you don't dilute Lotta Body, your locks are going to be very hard, okay? So once again, we're putting the lock on the pipe cleaner right above the circle that we created. And we're going to roll it on top of itself. We're going to fold the circle. And then we're going to gently roll the locks to where it lines up together. One curl on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. Never let it pile up. If you have this issue like you just saw me have, that means that you did not secure the end of your lock. That's okay. So just come back. Take that in, re-wrap it again. This time just make sure you get it a little bit more secure. fold it and roll it up, and just pay close attention to your ends this time. And look at that, it's perfect this time. We can always learn from our mistakes, and there you go. Okay, so we've got a few more locks to go. I'm doing 2 at a time. That seems to work for Kendra's hair. If we were to do 3, I think that would be too much, because I have to be mindful of her dryer time. We have product on her hair. She has water in her hair. She has pipe cleaners in her hair. And dryers are not designed for locks. Okay? Dryers were designed with free-flowing hair in mind, which is why we use our invention, the dryer accelerators, which we will talk about later. Okay? So with your clients with thicker locks, you may have a little bit of trouble with ensuring that the bottom part of the locks are wrapped correctly around the pipe cleaners. But that's okay. It just means that you have to put a slight bit more of amount of attention right here. And you can even lift up the end of the lock over what you're going to wrap. And that will ensure that you're wrapping it. Now, when you do that trick, you also have to keep in mind that the ends that have been wrapped with pipe cleaners are always going to be the longest part to dry. Okay? It's always going to take the longest amount of time to dry right there on the ends. Okay? So I'm going to do one more row with the retwisting and the pipe cleaning. And then after that, we're going to retwist and pipe clean at the same time. So it sounds like I just said the same thing twice. But what I mean is that we're going to clip it the first time. This is the last row that I'm going to clip it. Okay. Because for one, we're not going to be able to reach this towel much longer. And really want